I would like to invite the following presenters from Komatsu: Patrik López, Business Development Manager at Komatsu Modular, and Kenyn Rodríguez, Technical Account Manager at Komatsu MST. Please welcome them. You may begin your presentation now. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor for me to be here today in front of such a distinguished audience. Today we are gathered here at the International Congress of Mining Technologies, CIIT 2026. My name is Patrik López. I would like to begin this presentation by introducing an idea. We have all heard it, and it is part of our experience in mining. Our processes, mining operations in general, are fragmented. They do not communicate well with each other. I will start with a slightly disruptive idea, using an analogy with the image I am projecting here of the Tower of Babel. Surely all of us, or at least most of us, have heard this story. In the narrative of the Tower of Babel, there was a clear objective. Many people were working toward the same goal, with sufficient resources oriented toward that common objective. However, they were not able to complete the project. It collapsed.
So, interesting, Patrik. Good afternoon. My name is Kenyn. As Patrik mentioned, this story is very interesting. It speaks about a project where a group of people, a community, had a single objective. The capabilities were there, the resources were sufficient to achieve the project, but it had to be stopped because they stopped speaking the same language. And this feels very familiar within mining processes. It closely resembles what we experience in our operations, where we find multiple areas within mining that are not united under a common language. That is what we want to metaphorically connect to our operations.
Thank you very much, Kenyn. Let's move on to the next slide. Basically, this idea is replicated within the mining concept. In mining operations, we have different areas and different stakeholders involved in the operation. From an operations standpoint, for example, we have a clear message. Operations always need tonnage, move tons, produced ounces, and that is the language of operations. From the maintenance side, the focus is always on availability compliance, reliability of machinery and equipment. From geology, the geophysical and geotechnical mine model, slope stability. From safety, we talk about controls, hazard identification, and critical risk control. And of course, from the economic and financial side, which is always monitoring and verifying that projects remain within budget and aligned with the objectives we have set. Ultimately, each area performs its job and does it correctly. However, what is correct for one area is not necessarily what is best for the business from an integrated perspective.
That's right. And I think the key question we should ask is, what happens when there is no integration based on a common language? We begin to see collateral effects on the operation, which leads us, as Patrik mentioned, to make decisions from a single point of view, from our own area. Decisions that are correct in isolation, but that end up impacting another area. That is well-intentioned but poorly integrated decisions, or critical operational information from the work face that arrives late or does not arrive at all for making proper decisions. And this creates rework, cost increases, and in the worst-case scenario, increased exposure to incidents or accidents affecting safety and also adherence to production plans.
Very good point you just made, Kenny. In general, all of this will affect the sustainability and effectiveness of operations. Mining operations, both open pit and underground, don't fail due to a lack of qualified personnel or technical capacity, but actually we have more than enough of that in mining operations. We have highly qualified, well-trained professionals in all our operations, and in fact we work daily with the teams from the different mining operations, which gives us great satisfaction in being able to work in synergy and together with them. The problem arises when the areas cease to be integrated, to work cohesively toward a common goal. The entire system loses coherence. That's our vision of the operational Tower of Babel in mining. And that's what we at Komatsu Mining Technologies strive for, to be that agent or that integrating factor between the different areas, always seeking the best outcome.
what we want to share with you is this inflection point, what we should be discussing within our operations to ensure operational continuity and strengthen mining both in our country and in our region. I believe many of us can relate to this. Operations in areas are constantly being asked for greater productivity, higher safety levels, and improved energy sustainability. At the same time, operations are asked to reduce costs, minimize people's exposure at the work face, and automate processes. That is today's reality, right, Patrik?
Yes, absolutely. This is a true inflection point for the mining industry. It is no longer sufficient to optimize each area individually while working in disconnected silos. The real challenge lies in orchestrating the entire system while maintaining adherence to production plans, mine plans, and committed costs.
That's correct. In short, what Komatsu is aiming for in mining operations is not necessarily a single solution, much less an add-on solution. What we need in operations are solutions that provide real-time visibility into what's happening in operations, what's happening with the people, and how the technology is coordinated between the mine, contractors, and suppliers. And with measurable and manageable tools, and this is important, that are agnostic, adapting to the operation or its level of technological maturity, and that's what Komatsu is seeking with this integration of solutions.
Exactly, Kenyn. In other words, we need to empower an orchestra conductor, taponite, someone or something that enables all the instruments in the mining system to work cohesively toward the same shared objective. From our experience at Komatsu, we focus on specific operational needs, each of which varies greatly depending on the mining operation.
That's right. Over the years at Komatsu, one of the group's key interests has been to understand the driving factors behind mining operations. This has allowed us to understand that every operation is different, as is the technology each one has implemented. Secondly, mine dimensions vary, and this is a major factor that drives specific needs, along with the mine's growth projection, which strongly influences the adaptability of solutions.
We can classify these needs basically according to the type of mining operations our clients have: underground, open pit, or a combination of both, which is increasingly common.
Correct. Another aspect to consider is the level of automation, both in terms of equipment and technology applied to the solution.
We can also classify them based on telecommunications and data transmission systems. In open pit mining, this is much simpler. We have line of sight and surface access, allowing radio frequency, private networks, private 4G LTE, or even 5G communications without major challenges. We also rely heavily on geolocation technologies, commonly known as NANS, for tracking and traceability.
Correct. Underground mining presents completely different challenges. We deal with technologies such as leaky feeder systems, fiber optics, data and power redundancy, and multiple wireless communication technologies: Wi-Fi, BLIL, ultra-wideband, LoRa, LTE, often operating simultaneously. Another major challenge today is keeping up with the dynamic nature of mine development, where work fronts change within days or weeks. Technology and communications must move at that same pace, what we call last mile communications.
Very good. We can also classify these needs based on the type and management of the fleet in the mining operation. Fleets can be outsourced, as we know. There are specialized companies that provide this service. They can belong to the client, the mining company, or be a combination of both, which is also common practice for operational and cost reasons. Additionally, we can also classify them based on whether the fleets are operated autonomously, remotely operated over long distances by human operators, or operated in the standard manner from the equipment cabs.
Another critical aspect is safety and operational management, how personnel and fleets are managed, which we must understand to correctly deploy solutions.
We must also consider the multiple needs across different client areas. Each area has specific objectives, metrics, reporting needs, and analytics requirements tailored to both departmental and overall business goals. We are talking about overall operational effectiveness. Our solutions act as the operational brain of the mine, offering a holistic business view, integrating data, people, and processes in real time, transforming isolated decisions into connected, intelligent, and predictable operations.
That's right, and Komatsu created this technology division within its group many years ago. Normally, when I talk to some of you who know about Komatsu, you only think of the equipment, but Komatsu has developed this technology division called Mining Technology Solutions, which offers mining-oriented solutions with technological applications. And how is it integrated within the Komatsu group? The solutions for the entire operation are integrated into a modular ecosystem, and the MST Helix ecosystem, which covers operations, as we saw in the needs, both open pit and underground. Speaking of some solutions, just to mention a few that Komatsu has integrated into its portfolio, we're talking about communication, for example, communication networks. These have to be robust for an underground industry with sufficient capacity to support the solutions and applications that will run on this infrastructure, such as teleoperation, for example, or this dynamism of the mine, and to support that dynamic mine cycle with state-of-the-art communications. Another solution we can mention is the management of tracking people, vehicles, or any components the mine wishes to manage. But here we're talking about control for both personnel safety and productivity. And in addition to safety, we're also talking about proximity systems, for example, monitoring the interaction between vehicles and people or between vehicles. Fleet management is also available with FMS for underground mining, integrated with telemetry for equipment vital signs and KPIs for preventive maintenance management, for example. Finally, and this is crucial, is the data analytics we can extract from our own solutions or from the integration of other solutions.
Thanks, Kenny. And well, in open pit mining, we obviously incorporate our main product, a backbone of many large-scale mining operations in Peru and around the world. The dispatch system, which ultimately allows for the management of the entire system, the entire fleet. We also have products guided by high-precision machines. We're talking about shovels, drills, and dosing tractors with the provision system, payload control with our payload management system, Argus, which we have right here at the exhibition booth so you can interact with it a bit. We also offer telemetry services, health and vital signs monitoring with our asset management system, MineCare, and integrated analytics, which integrates all the processes from mine operations to the plant, within the plant, or the crushing and grinding circuit. All of this is always within our modular ecosystem with mine platforms, machine platforms, and the hardware we deploy on our equipment. We are brand agnostic and can be installed on other brands or by other EOM manufacturers in the mining industry. This modular system is scalable and designed to generate measurable results. It provides valuable KPIs that each area can use, allowing them to communicate using a common language.
That's right. And to wrap up my main point, the most important aspect of these solutions is that they aren't imposed, the mine doesn't adapt to the solution, but rather the other way around. And this is done in conjunction with our clients, respecting the realities of the operation, the technological maturity, and also the specific challenges the operation may face.
Thank you, Kenyn. Well, let's remember that true value lies not only in the technology we can provide, but also in the synergies we can create together. And we, as Komatsu, the Mining Technologies Division, support our clients in facing new challenges and taking their operations to the next level of integrated management.
To close, let's return to the concept of language. The mine of the future is not the one that accumulates more solutions or installs more systems. It is the one that ensures all systems speak the same language.
Thank you, Kenyn. We invite everyone to share their challenges, projects, and future vision with us at our stand. We'd love to talk a little more and understand your needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenyn. We invite everyone to share their challenges, projects, and future vision with us at our stand. We'd love to talk a little more and understand your needs. Thank you very much.